Well, that's just really frustrating, isn't it? At least it happened halfway through. Could have happened in the interval. That would have been a bit better, but hey. So I've just had a couple of messages from people going, "Oh, dude, your stream stopped again." Yes, it did. I hope that you find your way back to this channel. Leslie is there. Jeanette is there. Welcome back. Thanks, man. Yeah, if you are new to this channel, this has been happening frequently recently. It's not something that happened that's been happening since I've been broadcasting. It's it's a recent thing. It's not my computer that's doing it. It's actually the connection into this property. There's been an ongoing battle with myself, the other house, the people who I share the house with, and our net providers. I'm not the sort of guy who's going to name and shame them. If it carries on, I might reconsider that. It has been a long journey to try and get the upload speeds that we should be getting. We are getting about a sixth of what we are paying for. It's astonishing. However, there is a resolution in the works. We have threatened to leave and find another provider, and we spoke to someone who was very, very helpful, very, very instantly. First person that we spoke to like that ever in that department. So hopefully there's a resolution fix coming. In the meantime, it means that I have to make unprofessional and substandard videos that are bisected somewhere randomly. Who knows? I've just checked all my stats on the broadcast software here, saying that it's nothing to do with me, and I believe it. Adrian says, it seems like we're in the emergency room of a hospital right now. I see you. I see you. I don't know if I get that. I'm very sorry. Anyway, yeah. Sorry about that. Terrible, really, isn't it? I'm just going to give it a minute and see if any of our other viewers are going to come on over and join, because we had a couple of others. We had Darren and we had Jeff that were also there. Perhaps I'll just put a little message out, let them know what happened. Jeanette sent me a message. You think they could have fixed it by now? You're right. You are right. Thanks for supporting me, though. That's great. I get the ICU. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I get the pun. I just didn't. I thought maybe my sound's coming through and it sounds like I'm in a hospital. There's a lot going on up here right at the moment. That's ridiculous of me. I'm so sorry. Let me just send a message out and let the people know. We are back on, and I'll leave it there. So, where was I? Darren's about. I'm here, chap. Hi, Darren. It's just Jeff that we're waiting for. If we're waiting for anyone else, it would just be him. Okay, I was talking about before I was rudely cut off. I'm so sorry about that. I was talking about that I got the parts for my 3D printer delivered the other day. I was expecting them mid-month, so they've come a little bit earlier, which is great, and it means that now I can get onto repairing my 3D printer. It's been nearly 12 months. I was using it last year when the lockdowns first started happening in the UK, and I was printing off visors and bits and pieces for people in the community, for key workers, and I just overdid it. And if you remember, a couple of weeks ago I showed you that I blocked it up with this huge chunk of plastic. I could have nearly caused a fire. It didn't, thank goodness. But it's basically frazzled a couple of the pieces that were in there. Very expensive pieces. I found some much more affordable than anything I found so far. Replacement parts for it, and tomorrow I'm going to start rebuilding it, putting it back together again, and I can get back on that road of making some cool terrain things and stuff. I have been making various products. I have been selling them through other channels. Nothing related to Easy 8 yet. I do want to bring that to Easy 8, but we'll see how this printer goes. But it brought me onto a subject that I wanted to talk about, and that is terrain. I haven't given terrain enough limelight on this show. And back when I first started Easy 8, it was something that I considered maybe doing a separate show for. So there would be Easy 8 as the umbrella, and there would be Online Painting Club as one show that I do. I do a couple of product reviews as another thing. And then I thought maybe I could do like building models or scratch building models, and then making terrain as other things. I never really got around to doing it because starting a live show is taxing, and it is not a lot of pressure, though there is a bit of pressure involved. There's a lot to think about and make sure. I want to make sure that one channel went well before doing all the things and making it all rubbish and then having to stop because I couldn't do it properly. So we've been running now for over half a year on Online Painting Club, and I wanted to do something different. I've now started working, and that is very time demanding for me, and it's very difficult for me to even make sure that I'm here on a Friday, though I have been able to maintain that so far. So I don't know how I'm going to carry on with doing other channels. So what I might do in the near future is maybe just of an evening, of an Online Painting Club evening, is actually just do a night dedicated to doing terrain and other things like that. I'm open to opinions and suggestions. Let me know exactly what you think. Be honest, be harsh, be cruel, be kind, whatever you want. Let me know. Get in contact on Facebook. Have a chat with us in the after party in Discord or some point during the week. And if you've got ideas, because the show is for you, then let me know how you want that to. How you want it to move forward. That'd be great. However, my job is a seasonal job, which means I don't work all year round. There have been the opportunities to do so in the past, and I did over, not this winter just gone with the COVID lockdowns, but the winter before. I actually carried on working where I was, and where I work is an activity centre. We deliver activities for children in the outdoors. It's a wonderful experience for them and for us, and that's why we don't do anything during the winter. But because it's a residential place, we spent that winter rebuilding, redecorating, doing lots of really cool technical stuff and skimming plaster and painting walls and doing cool stuff. So if that's available for me this year, then obviously I need to work and earn money, so that is what I will do. However, because of the pandemic, my company might be trying to save money and then not hiring me on over the winter and just rehiring me next year, which is what I'm used to. So that does leave me with about 3 months clear to take on more projects for Easy 8. So I don't know how that's going to work yet. It's probably going to be a last minute decision from the company. So it's probably going to be much later in this year before I know what we're actually going to be looking at in terms of employment and opportunities over the winter. So that's something to think about for you guys if you want to, and if you've got suggestions, I'm all ears, because I want to make this show great for all, and you are the people who I make it for, not just for me. Jeanette has said could always pre-record those videos instead of live. I could do. Darren has said that would be cool. I'm hopeless at dioramas. Yeah, dioramas is another thing entirely, isn't it? So I could do something like that as well. Jeanette, you're right. I could do pre-recorded videos. I wanted to kind of stay away from it because I'm not great at it. Frankly, and I think that as I've progressed with Easy 8 here, I really like that live aspect. I like it because there's no hidden corners. There's nothing that I can hide by. If something goes wrong here, as we've just seen, it's all there for you to see. I like it when things go wrong in the painting. I like to see how things kind of I like when problems happen and it present you with a challenge and then how you overcome it. And it's nice to kind of do that as it happens. So I like that live thing. What is always there is obviously playback. So it's kind of it's uploaded, recorded onto YouTube so that people can watch it and go back to it, revisit it whenever. That's how I kind of deal with that. And I like that. That is, I've always said that's Easy 8 shtick. I think that's, so I might stay with that. But you're right, I could do some pre-recorded stuff. There's loads of it out there though, isn't there? So yeah, I don't know. So what I might do for the future, in a couple of weeks, starting maybe in a couple of weeks, so I'll have some ideas and I might dedicate one half of the show, like I've been doing this week and last, is I'll do a bit of my own painting in one part of the show, and then maybe in the second part of the show we'll go on to doing a terrain build. But then, like Darren says, maybe we could do dioramas. Perhaps there's a project that we can do together where I will do something here, and if you guys are so inclined, perhaps you would like to recreate what it is I'm doing here. So we can then all show pictures of what should be the same thing but actually could be wildly different. Just some ideas to throw in a hat. Have a think about it. tell me what you think, because I would love to know. I hope that your projects are going well this evening. I'd love to know what it is that you're up to. Drop us a little line in the live chat over there and tell me what you're up to, or just head on over to Facebook, chuck up a picture up there, let us know what you're up to, because you guys have been doing some astounding work lately. There's been some little mini tanks going out in 15mm. There's been some 135th builds. Darren's been doing a custom army truck from World War II with his own built canvas tarpaulin on the back. It looks absolutely fantastic. Keep that up. Adrian's doing all the 135th builds lately. Luke, who isn't online with us at the moment, I believe, has been working steadfastly on some knights. Big knights with some really nice paint schemes on them, and his Sisters of Battle. Jeff, who has we've lost Jeff since earlier on, although it looks like he might have come back in now, has been building stuff for customers all over the world. I'd love to know what you guys are up to. Jeanette says, I prefer the live, but as an idea, as a temporary measure. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely, you are right. Let's see where we go. Some other things that I want to talk about then that kind of tie in with terrain are, what are your solutions for the surface of your table? I'm talking specifically about gaming mats. There's something that I wanted to bring up because I always feel that your game table deserves the best presentation you can have. Now, I've come from a background of gaming where you start playing with cups or books under a bit of green material or a sheet or something to make a hill that your figures can never really stand on, playing around Coke cans. Jeff's back. Hi Jeff, thanks for coming back. I hope you didn't get lost there. Yeah, sorry, as I was saying, like, I've done all those things as a gamer. I've played around piles of books, I played around Coke cans, and then I've started making really crappy cardboard things. You know those cardboard inserts you get when you buy a new kettle or whatever it might be. I've done all that, and it was a great thing to do at the time. But now it's been 30 years that I've been doing this, making things and painting things, and I'm still not great, but I'm a lot better. And I think that my table, as my models get better, my table deserves, and my models deserve, the really good looking terrain and scenery around them, and the mat to go with it. So I'd like to know if you guys have got gaming mats, if you know of some really good companies that provide them. They can be very expensive. Have you found some that are really affordable? Have you got other solutions? I've got a couple right here, and I'll show you on the workbench in a minute so you can see them in better detail. Now, this one here is a gaming mat all rolled up in a little packet. It's a neoprene one, so it just rolls out, lays flat. It's brilliant. And this one is by a company called Deep Cut Studios. This was bought for me by my dad. Again, thanks. Jeff is in the comments right there. And he said that when he bought it, it was very, very affordable. And it's he said, but the thing, the image on the internet was very different to what we got here. So it's very, very dark, it's very, very dull, and it's a very kind of muddy field. But as advertised, it was supposed to be grassy fields. However, it's a really good gaming mat. It's not a bare tabletop. It's not a green snooker table or pool tabletop. And it's a really good alternative. And mixed in with a lot of the other terrain pieces that I've got, that I'll show you on another show later on, it blends in really well. So being affordable, despite not being what we thought we were going to get, is still really, really good. And I'll show you that one up close in a minute. Another alternative that I've got here is a fake grass mat that I bought from Lidl. If you're in the UK, then you know exactly what Lidl is. If you're outside the UK, it's basically a supermarket, and they have an aisle in several aisles in Lidl that is just given over to just anything. It's just, you go in there once a week and it's all changed, and it's like, if you want some slippers or a drill or a cat chair, whatever you may, it's mental. But this is artificial grass mat, and this was about £7, and it looks like mud and grass, and it's kind of got almost a static grass feature to it, and it's absolutely brilliant. What it does have is a bumpy backside, which may not make the flattest game table. So while it's an affordable solution, you might have to either make do with a side effect of models falling over or having dips in the table with heavier models, or you might have to try and sand all these things down. If you've got a little electric sander, handheld sander, that might be really easy. They're messy. So yeah, there's lots of things to consider when getting mats, and I just wanted to know what the community thought of it. And obviously, Leslie, you're watching right now. You've been talking about making a games club. I'm more than happy to donate this one to your games club because it's a local affair here, of course. You can cut this down. You can make it into smaller tables. You can put loads together and have larger ones. Maybe you can cut it up into pieces and make it a diorama out of it. But it was very, very affordable. I say this was £7 or £8. Ideal, right? There are people that use blankets, which are called teddy bear fur blankets. I actually bought one a couple of years ago for my cat, and she does not like it, so it now sits on my bed. I was going to consider cutting it all up and making it into strips. It's quite a popular choice amongst Second World War gamers for making like long grass fields and wheat fields and things like that. I wanted to stay away from it. I didn't necessarily like it for the games table, but some people make it look really, really good. Let me take you over to the workbench and I will show you this up close. I'll show you both of my mats up close. So, where's my workbench? Here it is. Cool. So this is this grass mat up close, this artificial grass, and you can see that it has that appearance of static grass. It has like a very dark base to it, which kind of looks like mud or soil or whatever, and then the grass over the top, and you could add effects to it if you wanted to. But just as a blank canvas, this is ideal for most games. It has on the backside this kind of grippy texture because it is a mat, and these bumps are really quite large. They're about 3 or 4 mil tall. Because of their spacing, if you made a whole mat out of it, it might be problematic. But I would just put a handheld sander on it and just go crazy, and then vacuum for hours afterwards, probably. So yeah, this is. I'll bring it in here. Can we see the label on it? Artificial grass mat, Flora Best. It is approximately 100 by 200 centimeters, and it is made in the EU. There you go. So there's that one. I've also got what we were just looking at a minute ago. Let me undo the packaging on it, and I'll roll it out. Well, not roll it out, but I'll pull it out. So here you can see the pattern. It's been printed on top of neoprene. It's like mouse mat material, wetsuit material. It's non-stretchy. It's very hard to crease or bend, though you can, so you should be careful with it. But when you roll it out, it's very unlikely to curl and have edges that are turned up. I don't know how much this was because it was bought as a gift, so you don't ask, do you? But it was, I've been told, a very affordable solution to expensive competitors on the market. However, if you have one of the expensive competitor ones that are out there on the market, I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to see it. I'd like to come and have a look if you're local, because we can do that now within reason. Or if you make them or know someone who makes them, I'd love to see what you've got. Basically, I think it would be great so that we can start enjoying really good looking tables with rich scenery and wonderful mats and whatever. What I like about these is that they roll up and you can just store them in the corner of a room without ever being noticed, or put it under your sofa or whatever. I think that's fantastic, because in the past it's always been like fold out tables with scenes and stuff put on them or whatever. Great. A couple of comments going in then. What have we got here? Adrian says that he's currently working on the Panther's Big Bro. The turret internals are now complete. Oh, the King Tiger. Absolutely brilliant. Of course, we were looking at that and discussing our tanks on Discord just the other day. Yeah, like Dan says, looking forward to seeing your progress. Yep, me too. I'm always looking forward to seeing that. I love tanks. Adrian says, I've got the old Citadel battle mat. It's basically a 6x4 green flocked sheet. I think I know what you're talking about. Is that like, it's basically a sheet with static grass attached to it, isn't it? Yeah. Again, a great solution. I don't think they do those anymore. I used to have a sheet of static grass, but I think that was more for you cut bits out and then stick it to a diorama if you wanted to. And I never used it, and it all kind of fell apart. It was really old, and I threw it away. Adrian also says, plus I've got a load of TT Combat laser etched terrain. Yeah, laser etched terrain is a really good way to fill your battlefield up quickly and effectively. I used to think that it was quite a lazy affair, and I have to admit that I was quite pompous about that, but actually there are people out there who make fantastic kits, and I've actually been to see the setup of Colin Farrant, who runs and owns Charlie Foxtrot models. There's links to his Facebook page, his website, an email if you want to, in the description of this video, and if you want to go and see it, go and check it out, because he makes some phenomenal stuff, and he is sought after all over the world, and he's got orders back to back. That guy never stops. He's really, really good, and it's very affordable stuff, and it's top quality. He's got a couple of machines in the shed down there. I went and had a look at it, and he designs all the stuff himself, and yeah, fantastic. There are some lower quality ones out there, but they're not bad, and there's some really good stuff out there. TT Combat, as Adrian's just mentioned, and there's also Sarissa as well, who do some stuff too. There's 4KT Terrain, I think is the vendor, but Mad Gaming Terrain, they make some really cool stuff. I'm looking to get some stuff from them myself. There's loads out there, and there's a few links in the description, I say, of this video. You should definitely go and check them out. You can do so much to them. They're not just built and then spray them or whatever. You can cover them in plaster, add more effects to them, make them look really, really cool, and because they're so affordable and accessible, you can just have loads of them, fill up several gaming tables, or Leslie, a gaming club, and then as and when you want to start enhancing even further your terrain, buy some from someone like, hey, Purple Line Creations, my dad, who is Jeff, in the comments, have a chat, or from any other one, you know, any other maker provider out there, and you start like replacing a few key things and make a nice centerpiece to a table and have a really nice church or a really nice bunker or whatever it is. Some really cool solutions out there, and I would like to start doing something like that on this show, because I think it'd be really cool. Leslie has said, ooh, yes please buddy, that would make three mats plus the ones I'm making, so do you want anything for it? It would definitely be incredible for the gaming club I'm making. I'm working on doing a Garden of Nurgle 6x4 mat with stylized battle boards and terrain, doing a Nurgle fountain feature, which is a hunched over thing puking with rubble around it. Mate, that sounds delectably gross. Yeah, cool. No, absolutely, you are welcome to it. I bought it on a whim. I don't know if I'll use it, but you are local. We'll arrange a time. We'll meet up. We'll make it all business official, and we'll unroll it and see what it's like. And if it needs work doing to it, then yeah, let's help make your dreams of making a game club come true. Darren says, I've seen some surprising detail model railway laser cut buildings. Yeah, absolutely. Railway model stuff I find to be very expensive. That I've not seen the buildings for it in laser cut terrain. I don't know if they are like the same price as what you would normally expect. But what I've been playing with, and I'll bring it out maybe next week or within a couple of weeks, with my 3D printers, I've been building just a few pieces of terrain that I found on a website called Thingiverse, where people create designs, upload them so that they can be shared the world over. People rarely do ask for money for them, and rightly so. If they have put a lot of work into it, they should get a little bit of something for it. But other people just kind of ask for kind donations or don't expect anything at all. I downloaded a whole set of files for Tyranid terrain that have been printed. I have an FDM printer, so it has striations or layer lines all the way through it, but there are ways of hiding that. It's very difficult to sand out, especially on highly detailed things as well, but it can be done. You can fill them and all sorts. I've also made a couple of Eldar portal towers and things like that, so I wanted to bring some of that into the show. I wanted to bring some laser cut terrain into the show, maybe just kind of scratch build some stuff as well, and just see where we go with that, and that might expand our audience a little bit, which is something that I'm always seeking to do with Easy 8. I think it would just be fun. So yeah, any suggestions, hit me up in the live chat. Comments in the in the comment section of this video, I look at them all, I read through them, I reply. Head on over to Facebook, hit us up over there, or come and have a chat with me on Discord. Some of you know me in person, just give us a shout, let me know what you think. But yeah, terrain, there you go. Anyway, let's head on over to my workbench, because we've got about half an hour left. Normally be about 20 minutes left, but we've got half an hour because we cut out earlier on, and that was just rubbish, and I'm so sorry about that. Like, I think I'm actually losing view counts because of how the show has degraded over the past few weeks. I accept that. I would like to apologize. Crazy. Anyway, here we are. I'm going to pop a lid on my wet palette because I'm not going to use that right now. I'm going to finish off my tea here. Cold. Let's move the Carnifex over there as well. Get my paintbrushes out of the way. So, Ferdinand, Tiger 2, Jagdtiger. They've all been basically primed up with the colour Dunkelgelb. I'm going to have to give them another pass over with it. There are some patches on some of the undersides of these that need a quick going over, but there's also little bits of damage or glue bits, if you like, and then the filler on the side of the King Tiger that just needs a quick going over. And then yeah, maybe I'll probably do some sort of shading on them as well and kind of get that done on them. I did say last week that I've got another tank here, which is my Stug 3. It's an early war tank, so I'm probably going to do him up in Panzer Grey. Doesn't really matter if he's not the same colour and I want to use him in a little squadron, then I could do, but I just kind of like to have a bit of variety in the colours. It's a really nice model. I love a Stug. They're brilliant. I love them. And I've also got the Morse, which is the kind of concept tank. I don't think there are rules in this in the games that I play. I think it would be incredibly boring if there were, because it would just either be bombed to death immediately, or you'd never kill it and it would just very slowly take everything out on the table. However, as a kind of an objective or a centerpiece to a table or whatever, I think it would make a really cool like terrain piece if you want. It's being bleached out by my lights again. Let me turn those away. That better? Is it? I don't know. What is going on with my lights today? I spoke to some of you guys in Discord last week. Thanks for coming along. We had a big long chat about what would be really good colours for it, and Darren mentioned that he had seen some dioramas of them being made, as if they were being made in a factory, so that they were all like primer red. And I've done a little bit of experimenting with primer red on my Panther, my 135th build, and it's a really nice colour to work with. I don't have any proper colours for it. I don't know if I'm going to buy any. I might just make my own again because it was quite good fun. I don't think I'd have an awful lot of reason to have like a whole line of undercoat colours. It's not like I'm going to spend all my time painting a 135th in primer red yet anyway. But it'd be really nice to make it like it's like in the factory, maybe put like chalk numbers and symbols and things on him. I think that would look really cool. So it was a great suggestion. Thanks very much, Darren. I loved it. And obviously the images you sent me as like ideas were just fantastic. It's a shame that I don't have the artist's name to cite, and I would have brought it up on the show, but yeah, they were great. Darren has, oh no, I thought Darren put another comment in there. He hasn't. That's fantastic. Okay, let's move on with our lives. Let's get some Dunkelgelb colours. Again, for reference, AK Interactive German Dunkelgelb. It's a brilliant set. I like to get a piece of paper because I don't like to spray directly onto my mat. It's a bad habit, I think. Okie dokie. Here is the colour that I was using. I did clean my airbrush out the other day, but I don't think I did a good enough job of it, and it was a little bit sticky earlier. So I'm just going to make sure that that's working okay. Yeah, I think I just need to push the needle through a minute. So, just undo the cap. There was a lot of bunged up paint in there. I spent quite a while cleaning it up, but sometimes you just need to give them a little bit more afterwards. Yeah, he's a little stiff in there. Let's undo that. I'm just going to push a bit of neat cleaner through. I think it's on the seals. Yeah, there it is. Look. It's just kind of dried on the needle there. So, a bit of neat cleaner. And a cotton bud. Big cotton ball. I like these. A couple of drops in there. And then just run the needle through. It comes off as easy as anything. And it takes the smallest, most microscopic bit of debris or build up to start blocking up your airbrush. So it's really important to give it a really thorough clean. I thought I had. It wasn't me being lazy. I just thought I'd done it. Sometimes I do miss a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pass a bit more neat cleaner right through the body of it as well, because inside is a seal, and I thought it was clean enough and I didn't take it out, and I can see actually, yeah, there's a little bit of bunged up stuff in there. So I've got some cleaning needles. They're just little wire strips essentially of different diameters, and I'm just going to choose one, and there is one that goes through quite well. This one here. Pop them in, and then what I do is I just use that as a guide just to put a couple of drops actually on the wire, and it just follows it right down inside, and then push it through, and then just give it a bit of back and forth, and that should hopefully dislodge whatever's in there, clean it off. I think what I actually need to do is actually replace one of the seals. Well, there's only really one seal just inside in here. When I first got this airbrush and I was learning to take it apart and do things with it, I think I over tightened it one day and I just kind of squished it, which just means that it's quite easy to get a bit of build up in there. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. Dislodge whatever's in there. Nothing's coming out. Excellent. That'll be enough to at least get us moving today. So I've rebuilt my airbrush. I will pop my trigger back in. Pop my needle in. Put the little clamp in at the back. It takes a second to get that lined up. Go on. There we go. Push the needle all the way back because I don't want to dent in the tip. And I'll put the cap on the end. And then that should push the needle all the way through. Seems to be moving lovely. Okay, cool. Hopefully that is enough to get us moving today. Just put a little drop just at the top just to clean out the nozzle. We're cooking on gas, as they say. Wonderful. Okay, cool. So, Dunkelgelb base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably be enough for now. I'm gonna put a drop of airbrush flow improver in there, maybe 2. I like this stuff. It just stops it from drying so quickly. Where's my little mixie brush gone? Here it is. Think of it also putting a little bit of thinner in there as well. Just a drop. It's quite easy to go over the top with the thinner, so I'm just going to be nice and nice and steady with it. Just the one little drop in there. And again, just mix it all in. You don't have to go in so heavy or so thick with it because for the most part they're actually painted. It's just a couple of bits and pieces on them. So the Jagdtiger then, I've got a couple of patches on the front and a little bit on the underside. And I often miss the ends of the cannons because I end up holding them as if it was a kind of a stick. So let's start on, well, I'll do the cannon and the front bits. That's a nice smooth blend that's coming out. I got that right first go. Bit of patchy on the front. And then just get the underside in there. Make sure that all the wheels are covered. And the mud flaps all the way down the sides. And again, doesn't have to be mental, doesn't have to be perfect, because this size, when I start adding other colours on, like camouflages and whatnot, it's going to hide a multitude of sins. I like to get just a little bit of something on the tracks, even though the tracks are probably going to be a different colour later on. just something for future colours to adhere to. Cool. I'm just going to pop him down, upside down over there. Over to the King Tiger. Got a little bit on the turret, I think, to do on this one, because again, I missed the end of him. So right on the end of the barrel there. I don't know why I'm making gun noises with my airbrush. Hey, I'm happy, man. Just a little bit on the undersides and around the edges there. Spray my own hands. That's great. Yep, clever me. And now I've really got to do this bit down the sides, one of the uglier parts that I've done recently, but it has filled in the gap quite well, and I've got a little bit of stuff to do on the underside end too. So a nice pass all the way down. The paint is helping to fill in that a little bit, but there's what looks like quite a nasty gap here. I don't know if you can see that very well. I'm going to let that dry and then maybe come back to it and just carry on filling it with paint. Also, because it's quite heavy on the top there, I don't want to turn him upside down just yet. So I'll come back to him in a minute. Now this one, if you remember last week, I didn't undercoat this one, so it was a little bit duller than the rest, so I'll probably give him another whole pass over, but right now just gonna do the underside of him because it needs it a bit more. Be running out of paint there already. I didn't use as much as I did last time, but I'm also just gonna clean the nozzle. That's a bit better, yeah. A bit of both, I think. It's got some really big chunky wheels on this one. I quite like them. You see how the track sections are fitted into the body of this Ferdinand. You can see the big gaps in there. These Vezda models can be a little bit hard to fit together. Do bear that in mind if you're going to buy them. I do recommend getting them. They are wonderful models. Okay, I ran out. I might just get a bit more paint in there. I can see some more comments going in. Leslie said, it's my birthday towards the end of the month. Happy birthday, Leslie. So I'm going to be spoiling myself with terrain. Plus I'm aiming to get the footage I made edited and fingers crossed up and running by then. Man, that would be really cool. I'd like to see that. I can't wait. But without this channel, your advice and everything about this community, I don't think my idea would have even got this far. And everything goes pear-shaped. We still got this awesome channel. Thanks very much, mate. That's really kind of you to say. You've always got something nice to say about me, so thanks. I don't know if there's a say about that. I've kind of gone all shy now. Thank you. And I'm always happy to help anyone kind of develop their ideas if they want to make their own channel. That's cool. Whatevs. Here to help. Right, a couple more drops maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It seems to be a good count. And then, yeah, I'm going to start leaving my lids off while I'm painting, I think, because, oh no, you drop it all over your models. Maybe don't leave all your lids off. It's just a lot of screwing and unscrewing and screwing and unscrewing. Obviously, be careful of ones that evaporate, because some could be like alcohol based and they might just disappear if you have them open too long. Let's just get a cotton dab on that guy there. That's a bit thinner there. That's actually probably going to affect the paintwork on him. Yay for me! Accidents happen, man. Okay, so that's coming out nicely. Give them a quick coat over. Just trying to make that colour a bit richer, just to kind of match it up to the other ones. Again, it doesn't matter, even if the colour is slightly different, because no two tanks were equal. Everything was painted on the fly. It's kind of nice to have a little bit of variety, even in the same colour scheme, right? Some tanks were dirty than others, some were more damaged than others, some were painted in different ways. It only takes to have an artist in the in the tank, and suddenly you've got a little bit more flair on the colour schemes or the camouflages or whatever. So yeah, I'm not really overly fussed about that. Gonna make another pass along this little bit here, where the filler is there, because it's still kind of showing through. Got a bit of a blockage on the nozzle there. Let's deal away with that. Beautiful. Anything else needs to be done to this turret here? Wonderful. And I think the Jagdtiger is pretty much ready to go. So yeah, maybe I'll just get a little bit of some of those little whiter areas perhaps, just to make sure that the colour goes on nice and even later. Fantastic. Wonderful, and I ran out of paint just when I needed to. Okay, so those are based. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put a little bit of water through. Now, do you know, I'm going to put a little bit of 50-50 water in cleaner, because it's been just a little bit blocky today. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that through. Just flush him. That'll just help clean him out a bit better. And it's always worth flushing them after every colour. Some airbrush artists I've seen actually like to do like proper blending on the fly, so they'll pour the next colour in and it will merge and blend as it kind of comes out of the airbrush. I am not that good. I hope to be one day, because that's really good. So what colour am I going to move on to next? Because these are small, and in the past I have gone a little bit over the top with them, I'm not going to go every single colour. I'm going to go base, I'm going to go a bit of shadow, so I'm going to go straight to the dark one, and then I'll probably move to the highlight for highlights rather than the ultra shine. And then what I'll do to kind of blend them all together again is I will do a translucent layer of the base one over the top of it all over again. So give this one a really good shake. And now, like I've done it in the past on various other tanks, is just pick out areas where I want a bit more shadow to go, and I kind of just make this up as I go along. And there's no rhyme or reason. There doesn't have to be. It's not a realistic effect. It's not like a painting style that is going to make your tanks look like they just come out of the wall. But it helps simulate certain things. Darren says that some were even painted in mud. Were they really? That is fascinating to know. So some I suppose you know that is the equivalent of sticking like leaves and twigs in the meshing on your helmet. But to actually know if tanks were painted in mud, If you've got any reference to that, I'd love to see it. That is really interesting. Yeah, so what I do is I basically just pick areas on here that I want to have as more shadow. So especially in the wheel areas, and I've put shadow up underneath so that there's a bit more shine coming in, because it kind of represents or simulates light. I like to get it into like the corners. So if I point here with this brush, I like to kind of get it in this little bit and underneath the cannon on the underside, and I'll definitely do some down here. And I like to get a little bit going along in the kind of crease along the mud guards along the sides, and I like it to go a little bit shadow heavier towards the rear, so it just kind of makes it look a little bit more brighter at the front and a little bit more duller at the back, and it just has a nice general effect, I have found. So yeah, again, I'm going to try and keep it nice and simple. I'm going to put in, let's go with 12 drops of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go, cool. And again, I'm going to put in a drop of thinner. Oh, that was 2 drops of thinner. That was an accident. I don't want to over dilute it. So I'm going to put in just 1 drop of flow improver. Give it a good drop there. A drop and a half, if you can have that at all. And I will clean my mixing brush out, and then I'll give it a good stir in the hopper there. We are probably, I'd say, about 10 or so minutes away from the end of this show. Obviously I will see this little project through. I've got to just kind of cut out halfway through doing a tank. I can only apologise for taking up everyone's time with the inconvenience of having another connection drop. There's not a lot I can do. I'm really sorry. I hate it. You know I like to be professional. Clean the nozzle off again. There we go. Test spray. Oh, beautiful. Got a bit of spatter there. Let's just get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to take it nice and gentle, and I'm going to do a thin layer maybe over the bottom and just see what it's like. We can see that that's dulled that off quite effectively. And now I'm going to do up underneath the wheel arches, or on the underside of the tracks there. Trying to be careful about the overspill onto the mud guards there. Not a lot I can really do about that. Maybe I'll hit that with a pass over later on. Once if I put my finger over here. Seems to work really well. Nice little effect going in there in the wheels. Remember, less is more. Underside, yeah, the underside of the mud guards at the back there. Some of the the engine, the exhaust cowlings, or whatever. There's the little wheel, not wheel jack, the track clamps there. Okay, other side then. Put my finger over the side of the mud guards. That seems to work quite well, just in case I'm not very accurate. Oh, bit heavy there, but never mind. A bit of random is okay. Okay, and now I'm going to try and get a little bit in the corner on the front here. Let's have a little test spray. Try and get it a little bit heavier under the mantlet as well, which is this feature here. Underside of the cannon, because that always looks kind of cool. I like to do just a little bit around some of the paneling, just a little bit. Trigger control is really quite important here because I could ruin the whole thing. Got a little bit of a blockage there. Okay. Now I'm going to go down the edge of the top side of the mud flap here. Down the back corner, behind the casemate. Remember that a casemate is a fixed turret. It's a little lesson for you if you didn't know. Get a bit of a blockage here. Rubbish, isn't it? There we go. Bit of cotton stuck on my thumb there. See you later, mate. Thanks. Yep, still getting a blockage. Maybe the needle needs realigning. Let's see if I can just push that forwards a bit. That's helped in the past. I want to see if it does it now. A little bit. Just think I've got a bit of a blockage appearing inside the gun again. Okay, so that's all the basic sort of lines that I feel that I want on there. And now I'm just going to kind of just hit it with a gentle from a distance and just start applying a little bit heavier at the rear. If I wasn't constantly getting blockages. Come on, it'd be nice to get this done before the show ends. I find it just gives a bit more character to the tank, and it makes them just look a little bit grubbier because it's the engine, kind of on larger scales as well. It just kind of makes them look a bit more grittier, a bit grimier, which is quite nice. I do a little bit on the casemate as well, just like that. And obviously, I suppose there's like an artistic feature with the turret being the business end of the tank, isn't there? So you want that to be a bit more prominent and proud, and in the light and the engine and all that sort of business being further away, and you know, got sort of luminosity perspective, if you like. It's a personal thing. It's not something that I've learned from another artist. I quite like it. I probably picked it up from somewhere. I don't remember actively thinking of it, going like, oh, this artist helps me decide on this. But yeah, there we go. That's, yeah, some basic shadow there, and though that looks very tiger stripey as such, when I make a little translucent pass over later on, that should make it look really cool. A little bit around some of the detail, perhaps, just like that. There we go. Bit on the underside of that cannon one more time. There we go. I'm going to carry that on just over in the Easy 8 after party. So if you are inclined to do so, do feel free to join. I'll be on there for at least half an hour. Maybe I'll be on there for like another hour. Who knows? I'm going to finish off a little bit of the airbrushing I was doing. If I still feel like it, I might do a little bit on my Tyranid. I've certainly got to clean my airbrush out, so that probably would take up a good portion of this evening. But yeah, you're welcome to come and join me over on Easy 8's after party on Discord. It's really easy to get to on Facebook at the moment. If you just scroll down a little bit down the page, there is a link to Discord. Click on that. If you haven't already, you need to make a little profile on Discord. It takes seconds to do. Verify your email, please, because it is a Discord policy. They like you to verify your emails, and then you can literally just join in with us and come and have a chat. Come and have a little peruse around that after party server. It's cool. I like it. Let me just come out of here. There I am. Cool. Yeah. Really looking forward to where these tanks go. They're starting to get a little bit of colour on them, which is always nice because they've been sat in the windowsill of this room for a while with just their primer colours on. And it's a little bit depressing, isn't it? So it's nice to get some colour on them. It's going to be a real nice tank when it's done, as will the rest of them. Anyway, I'd like to apologise again for the drop of, the show halfway through again. It's terrible. I find it embarrassing, and I can only apologise. I can see that Leslie has said it's not your fault, dude. At least I can actually spend more time this evening to watch tonight's episode till the end. Thank you again for providing a couple of hours for the real-time creative. You're welcome. Darren says, catch you on Discord. I need to charge phone backup. Okay, cool. There's a couple of people that are going to join on over. Anyway, until next week, if you want to get in contact, head over to Facebook, see if you can find us on Discord, drop comments into these videos. You're more than welcome to. I read everything. If you've got suggestions for the show or the future of Easy 8, I'd love to know about it. If you just want to kind of drop in and put pictures up, cool, do so. Bring a friend. Always bring a friend. Bring a friend and subscribe and do all the cool things that other YouTube channels have and make Easy 8 the biggest of them all. That'd be great. Thanks very much. Anyway, until next week, I've been Danny. You've been fantastic as always. Stay kind, stay safe. See you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye. Another week, another fiasco. Curse it.